A boutique business is one of the most profitable businesses that you can start in the United States right now today. Don't believe me? Keep watching. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Emily Benson. My channel is for you because you want to learn more about boutique businesses. Whether you're starting, whether you're in that new growth phase, or whether you're starting to become more established, I'm here to help. I am a boutique consultant and coach, and I am one of the secrets behind some of the most successful boutiques you'll see on Instagram today. So let's jump right in. Why are boutiques so profitable? You might think that inventory is expensive, they can be expensive to have, a brick and mortar store, things like that. But what's really important to understand is that with a boutique business, just like any other business, you can keep a lot of the cost low. Luckily for us, clothes, accessories, children's clothes, men's clothes, these are things that we can find at a wholesale price and put much higher to sell it at a retail price. I think one of the biggest misconceptions when you're just starting out is that overhead is really expensive or it's really inexpensive. It can go either way. For myself, I bought a truck and that was about $16,000, just the truck itself, plus about $10,000 worth of inventory, the build out, all the various kind of costs included with like registration. If you want to know more about starting a mobile boutique, watch this video here. Here's the deal. If you start a brick and mortar, there are ways to do it inexpensively. You don't have to be in the biggest mall, in the biggest shopping plaza in your town. You can start off small. You can start off with pop-ups, buying a tent for $150 at Costco, getting some racks and tables. It doesn't have to cost a lot to start. You just gotta start. The other thing about having maybe just an online boutique is the costs for online boutique aren't that crazy. Honestly, you could buy clothes, take pictures with a nice mirror in your bedroom and post them on your Shopify site. And that Shopify site is around $29 to $35 a month with apps and things like that. You can start pretty inexpensively. The most expensive thing is always going to be your inventory, but that goes up and down, and that's what we really make the money on. It's good to keep your expenses low in terms of how you operate your business, and it's good also to keep your profit high. Let's talk about profit. I think that the word profit gets tossed around. So when I say in this video that it's one of the most profitable industries that you can enter, it's because truly the difference between what we pay for an item and what we can charge for an item can be so great, and that money ends up being part of your profit. That's your gross profit. Once we take everything out, again, like I said, as we keep your expenses low, you can have a really low expense boutique with really high margin inventory and you are killing it. You are making a lot of money and keeping it in your pocket. Even if you don't make a lot of money revenue wise, like your total sales aren't that high, your profit will still be high. And that's what the most important thing is. I see too many boutiques when they first start out just buying a lot of inventory. They're buying too much or they're buying too deep, so their quantities are really high, or they just have a ton of styles, kids, men's, gifts, candles, you name it. That's a mistake. It's really important as you first start out to say really focus on what you think you can sell, what you're excited about, what your ideal customer is excited about. These are the things that you want to focus in on, because the more quantity you have and the more items you initially buy, the harder it is going to be to really get off the ground. You want to start with small batches and sell through them, make money, invest a little bit more. Growing a boutique can be extremely organic, and that's why I say it's so profitable, because you really don't need a lot to start. You can start small. This is why we see so many people starting boutiques. You can really start small and you can grow from there. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please hit subscribe down below that red button and make sure that you click the little bell so you get notifications when I launch new videos. I'm in the process of producing a lot more videos. I just came back from sort of an extended pregnancy and maternity leave. I now have a 9-month-old daughter, which is so amazing, but we're back on the recording plans. I'm excited to continue sharing so much of the work that I do with you. If you haven't caught, my podcast or me at a trade show speaking, I'll leave some links below so you can see some of that stuff too, but stay right here on my YouTube channel because I have a whole lot of good stuff coming for you. Truly, one of the biggest factors that is really overlooked is the idea of your margin or your markup. Now, margin and markup tend to get used interchangeably. We use profit margin, we use what's your margin on an item, what's your markup. They're sort of interchangeable, but they're also not. Essentially, what we're talking about is the difference between the wholesale cost, so what you pay for an item, and the retail price, what you're going to sell it at. The bigger or smaller that is, the bigger or smaller the amount of money that goes into your pocket. You've got to remember, the way this works is that you're going to buy inventory, you're going to mark it up to a new price. In the boutique world, we pay wholesale costs, so much smaller costs than, what you actually probably think. We mark it up, we give it a retail price. And so it's important to know that as we sell through that is kind of our profit margin, but it's not really. It's our markup. And then that money ends up funding two things. One, funding the purchase of more inventory, and two, funding essentially the expenses of your business. All of that overhead I talked about, taxes, paying yourself, that chunk needs to go there too. Luckily, the markup is so good on clothing for women's boutique that you should be making a ton of money from day one as long as you're selling. So if you're just starting out and you're like, you know what, Emily, okay, it's profitable, great, but what's my next steps? How do I actually get this inventory? What does that look like? Don't worry, I've got a free Where to Buy Inventory guide that is going to help you get yourself all set up to be able to buy inventory. It also includes a list of my favorite vendors, so don't go paying for a vendor list. As I always like to say, here's to making lots of friends and making lots of money. I'll see you guys next time.